Coming up next on The Voice about politics, welcome to Athens, Greece, the birthplace of democracy and the cradle of civilization. All this and much, much more coming up next on The V. Welcome to The Voice of Alabama Politics, where we tackle the tough issues so you have the hard facts. I'm your host, Bill Britt, and as always, I'm joined by Susan Britt, research guru extraordinaire, and Josh Moon, columnist at APR, and also the best investigative reporter around. How y'all
Nice.
doing?
Good.
All right.
I am beautiful. I am lovely.
You look a little
Lovely.
different.
We
You
are-
look a little. You got a different background.
Just a bit of background, yeah.
We are currently in Athens, Greece, the birthplace of democracy and the cradle of Western civilization, and that is the Aegean out there.
How beautiful and blue is that? Isn't that gorgeous?
I mean, it
That's
does
right.
not
Listen,
get
it's,
any better.
It's good that you're in the birthplace of democracy, so you can watch it die from afar from over here.
Well, you know, that's the one thing as we all know, over 2,500 years ago, the people of Athens figured out that they could govern themselves. The people could govern themselves. They could elect leaders. They could form a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. This is where that notion came from. And the founding fathers, they looked at places like Greece and where it had failed and where it had gone right, and it moved across Europe into the United States. And Josh, you're so right. The Athenians watched their democracy die after the government became corrupt. People were bought off. The corruption was bad. And people no longer believed in institutions and the very government that they elected. That's much what we see today.
Yeah, no, it's listen. You gotta maintain those rules and ethics and things for a reason. They're there to safeguard. They're basically guardrails for your democracy that you put in place to make sure that the government is for all. That's when you get into trouble, when your government stops being for the people and starts being for a handful of folks at the very top. Then you have some real trouble, and I think that's what we're seeing a lot of today, especially in the state of Alabama, where it has very rarely been for all the people, and is very rarely focused on the masses, and has more been focused on the top, which is why we struggle in so many areas.
You know, and Susan, we've seen this while we've been here in Greece a week, and the people here, we won't say how they feel about America. We're not going to go down that path. But when we talk to them about the issues that are on their mind, the issues that they're concerned about is education, making sure that the roads are well maintained, that the environment is looked after, and that their tax dollars are not being squandered by their government. I mean, we don't hear the kind of talk. Now, they don't love their government, but we don't hear the type of talk that we hear in the United States, do we?
No, we don't. We don't hear the rhetoric. We just hear people genuinely being concerned, wanting to keep an eye out. I know we heard of a tragic train accident back last year where 60 students lost their lives because the government wasn't taking care of the infrastructure for that railroad track the way that they should have, and that is a major concern.
But there was outrage, and see, one of the things that Athenians do when they get mad at the government, they just go on strike.
Yeah,
it is nothing to see them going on strike and forcing the government to do something. Can you imagine if like Birmingham, Huntsville, and Mobile all of a sudden said, "We don't like what you're doing. We're going on strike." I mean,
And they do that frequently here.
I like it.
They do.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I can't imagine it, but I liked it. I like the idea. I like the thought that if we're not going to work together and do the things that need to be done to support everybody, then we're going to stop doing. We're going to stop doing our part, because those three cities especially play a major role in funding for all of our state government.
yeah.
Well, and they tell you, they warn you when you come here. Don't be surprised if all of a sudden one day the buses don't run.
Right.
Or one day there are no taxis. I mean,
One
it'll
day-
be over.
one
It doesn't last forever, but
yeah.
that's enough to get their attention.
But one of the things, we've talked to people in the street, in the tabernas, in the coffee shops, and when you talk to those people, working class people and all that, they love their country. They're very proud of their country and the history of their country, and they still cling to the notion that they gave the world democracy. It is something. If you mention the cradle of Western civilization and democracy, you see their pride swell, even though they lost it. But they haven't lost the pride that came from being the first. And as you, Josh, said, we may one day have the shame of being the last. And that troubles them too, because while they don't talk a lot about America, they are worried about the world economy, because not too many years ago, Greece collapsed completely because of the government.
Yeah, no, it's and I would say too that that people should. I've studied a little bit about Greece, especially after the collapse and what was taking place there and how they lived. It's a whole different life than the one we're accustomed to in America. What they value, what they place value on. Where we take a whole lot of pride in working until we're 70. They take a whole lot of pride in making sure they're taking care of themselves. That they get their naps, they get their they retire early, they do the thing, and it's not such a possession-driven, lifestyle that they have there, so and listen, I think that there's arguments to be made both ways, obviously, on those sorts of things. But I think that when we're looking at what we're doing here now, I think we can definitely take some lessons from how that failed. Of course, we're not going to, because we don't even like our own history, much less somebody else's. And so, we're not going to learn from those past mistakes, but we definitely could.
Yeah, and that's really sort of one of the reasons Susan and I wanted to go on this trip, is to talk to people, see the places where, if you think about Plato, Aristotle, and these people actually walked on these grounds and debated these issues that we're still debating today. And it is an eerie sense of history that overtakes you, because you realize that these great people lived here, and they're no longer here, but their thoughts are. And we got a bunch of bozos that are putting their thoughts out there, but I'm not sure they're really here. But anyway, we're going to have to leave it right there. You're watching the voice of Alabama politics, from the beautiful shores of the GNC.
Alabama has a hands-free driving law, and that means you can't hold your mobile phone while making a call. Oh, and no writing messages, recording, or watching videos either. Plus, you can only use a single button or swipe of a finger to answer a call. So what's a driver to do? Alabama's hands-free driving law is in effect. Follow it.
Your home is your most valuable asset. But what if someone tried to steal it from you? Property fraud is one of the fastest growing areas of fraud in the country today.
As a district attorney, I've seen firsthand the devastating effects of property fraud. That's why I'm proud to support the Montgomery County Probate Court's REACT program.
REACT is designed to protect your property and to give you peace of mind. By signing up, you'll receive an email notification if a document is filed against your property.
This program is a game changer. It has the potential to prevent fraud and protect countless homeowners throughout Montgomery County.
So don't wait. Sign up for REACT today and protect your home.
Protect your home with REACT. Sign up today.
Welcome back to the voice of Alabama politics. Josh, you and I were talking, I was talking to you in the middle of the morning, and you were at the middle of the night, basically. And, you know, you were mentioning the great furor that has overtaken politics after the senseless murder of Charlie Kirk. And, you know, while Mr. Kirk was certainly a conservative, some would say he was a right-wing conservative, his own words I went back and read, and he always promoted free speech. He didn't believe that there was evil speech or hate speech. He believes it was speech, and that speech was protected by the First Amendment. Now, this notion that we're seeing in the backlash to this is anything but, I think, what Charlie Kirk's message was. Whether you're liberal or a conservative or in between, in America, everyone should have the right to speak without fear, certainly of being repressed by the government, but certainly even more so, Josh, than fearing that their life will be taken from them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it. You know what happened to him was terrible. I mean, it goes without. I think it goes without saying to 99% of the population that what occurred was horrible. You know, I mean, I don't. Seriously, of the people who were willing to commit actual violence out there at this point over political speech, I think is a minuscule number of people. And there was one, unfortunately, that took Charlie Kirk's life, and he should not have been killed for anything that he said. Of course not. He should you know, we start to say killed. He shouldn't even have been harmed or threatened in any way for what he was doing. If you wanted to shut Charlie Kirk down, you should have debated him with better ideas, okay? And I think a lot of people did that. A lot of people from the left debated him, and I thought had better ideas. And obviously he was from the right, and I disagreed vehemently with a lot of the things that he said, and honestly don't really understand some of the outpouring of love that people have for things that he said. But I mean, he was their person, and nobody should be you know, harmed or threatened in any way for what they said. But you know, I think that we have a lot of times in these situations we'll reach kind of a tipping point where things go too far, and I think we're kind of at that point now. I think the removal of Jimmy Kimmel from his show and some of the other things that have gone on. I think a lot of people, you know, Pam Bondi's talk of prosecuting people for hate speech. I think a lot of people on the right have said, "Whoa, what are we doing here?" You know, and I'll take it back to like say the Me Too movement and some of the other things that went on. You know, there was a reckoning for women that went on in the Me Too movement that was very much deserved and should have happened for a long time. But I also think, and I think we all recognized it at the time, that some of the things that we were doing went a little too far in that and what was happening. And there was a tipping point that pushed it back towards the middle where most folks reside. And I think we'll get to that point here now. Hopefully this last couple of days is the worst that we'll see, and we'll start to rein it back in, and we can have honest discussions about, you know, cutting out violence, certainly, and maybe toning down some rhetoric.
And I absolutely agree. And I was concerned about the Me Too movement from the very beginning because I was afraid it was going to go so far that women wouldn't be taken seriously because of any false allegations that were out there. It did. As you said, it did reel it back in. But there should never be any room for any violence when it comes to especially politics. This is the discussion of ideas with different viewpoints. That's what it's supposed to be.
And
yeah, we got to get back to fighting over football, man. I mean, that's what we need to be doing. The fist fights over SEC ball. Right? Come on, man.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, because anyway, I won't say. But this is a part of our history. In the United States, there is this tendency towards inflamed rhetoric and people dying over it. I mean, look, in just a few short years, we lost Medgar Evans, we lost Dr. Martin Luther King,
Medgar
Evers.
Uh-huh.
Is that what I said?
Evans.
I'm sorry, Medgar
Evers.
Evers. Anyway, we lost him very early on. Lost, President Kennedy very early. Then we lost Dr. Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy, all these people. And if you go back, presidents have been shot. Ronald Reagan was shot.
Let's not forget Gabby Gifford as well.
Yeah, they tried to assassinate several presidents, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln was assassinated because of the type of hate that gets developed. But we were talking to some Athenians here the last few days. They had never heard of Charlie Kirk. We only found one person that said, well, what happened? Was he a good guy? Was he a bad guy? And the only answer I think we had was, well, he was a guy that was speaking his mind.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with him or not, he's just a guy speaking his mind.
There's only one person that's...
Only one person out of, we have spoken to hundreds of people. But the thing is that in my mind, we have to look back and say, we've experienced this violence before, but overcame it in time. And it was right. The assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King was an experience and a true tipping point, I believe, Josh.
Yeah, no, I think it absolutely was as well. Like I said, the stuff with Kirk, obviously not the shooting, but the things that have followed afterwards, have, I don't agree with some of the things that have been said, obviously,
Right.
and I don't agree with some of the stuff that he said. And I think some of it was very harmful and hurtful to people. But, that's one person speaking their mind. And if you want to stop that, you've got to show people a better way. Not kill somebody, not hurt somebody, not threaten violence, not get them fired from their job. You've got to show them a better way. You've got to resonate with them as well as the person who's espousing the ideas that you dislike. And that's where we've got to get to.
And that's what dictatorial governments do. If they don't like what you say, they murder you. They cost you your job. They cost you your livelihood. They throw you in jail. And that's a terrible reaction. Listen, anybody that gets murdered over what they had to say that was absolutely horrifying. But you do not stop the American people from speaking their minds by threat. That is wrong, whether it's on the left or the right. The threat of losing your livelihood, even your life, over speaking is unacceptable. But we're going to have to leave it right there. You're watching The V, the voice of Alabama politics. We'll be right back.
Alabama has a hands-free driving law, and that means you can't hold your mobile phone while making a call. Oh, and no writing messages, recording, or watching videos either. Plus, you can only use a single button or swipe of a finger to answer a call. So what's a driver to do? Alabama's hands-free driving law is in effect. Follow it.
Welcome back to The V, the voice of Alabama politics. Did I mention it's the Aegean Sea behind us?
Gorgeous.
Isn't this lovely,
Beautiful
Josh?
blue.
Josh, you got any little tips for us? Can we have a good time?
Yeah, man. Listen, eat all the seafood you can and wear some 30 SPF at least.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're good.
I have it
Yeah.
in my backpack. It goes everywhere.
Oh, the food here. Oh, you think you had
Unbelievable.
Greek food? You don't. No, you haven't had
Nothing.
anything like Greek food. It's just unbelievable. Everything's fresh, delicious. They will, and then once you finish eating and paid, they give you more food
Yeah.
Oh,
and stuff.
nice.
So
Nice.
it's crazy.
They just keep feeding you.
Yeah.
Keep feeding you.
beautiful culture.
And you
beautiful
walk it
people.
off, though. Good.
Yeah,
heavens,
you
walk it
definitely-
off.
I mean, it's
hills,
hills,
up,
all-
down, up, down.
But again, I know this. I don't want to beat this, to death here. But I think everyone, Governor Kay Ivey has been really good, very steady. She's not a problem. But you have a lot of silence from a lot of our lawmakers, and in the case of Tommy Tuberville, he's an inflamer. I mean, he loves to say crazy stuff on television. And you know what? Alabama doesn't need a governor whose talking points are crazy talking points. We need a governor like Kay Ivey, who's straightforward. We enjoy having a senator like Katie Britt, but every one of them right now should be not talking about how people are, don't say this, don't say that. What they should be saying is that we should come together as people, Democrat, Republican, whoever you are. And Susan, I'm not hearing that from back home.
I'm not hearing any of that. I'm not hearing. All I'm hearing is the more division.
Yeah.
These are the crazy, violent liberals that are going. At some point, this is going to have to stop because it's causing incidents like with Charlie Kirk. It's causing incidents like with Gabby Gifford. At some point, people are going to have to come out and say, listen, we just need to work together here to try to figure out solutions and talk it through, instead of ignoring each other and ending up in totally different corners.
Josh, and look, opinion or no opinion, what is needed at a time like this is a healer, a leader that is a healer.
Absolutely.
And not a leader that has found a soapbox to stand on. And I am not hearing the kind of healing talk that we need from our leaders. Well, I'm not hearing anybody go, hey, let's come together. Let's find common ground. We're all Alabamians. We all live, share, work, and breathe in the place we love. Let's come together. And I've been so disappointed that, Tuberville is just, give me a match, baby. Give me a match,
Yeah. No, listen, you're right. There's not been because let's be honest, if the people that want those types of solutions to this are typically the people that govern best in our society. They're the people that know how to go out and solve problems, that work hard to do the job, and that right now we're in a situation in which the idiots thrive. Really, the people that don't do the job, the people that we all think of as a drain on our government, as a drain on our time, as a drain on our brains, those are the ones who thrive in these sorts of environments in which everybody is mad at each other and you're just throwing rocks back and forth and you're not really coming up with solutions. Because that's all they care about. They care about creating the fight because they don't have a solution to the complicated problems. And you're right. Kay Ivey has been this person who does not involve herself in these sorts of situations. She has not, for her entire political career, she has not done that. Instead, she has kind of worked, whether I agreed with it or not, she's worked to find a solution to the problem. And most of the time I didn't agree with it. But at the same time, I do value the fact that she's not out on TV somewhere saying something crazy about the people who oppose her. And so that's what you need as a governor. A governor is a whole different sort of thing than a congressperson or a senator, even at the state or the federal level. And so I think there's gonna be a learning curve if Tommy Tuberville is in fact going to be our governor, in which he's going to have to do some of the things. I think I'll give you another example. Ron DeSantis, I think, kind of has figured this thing out as well. where he was this divisive sort of a guy, and he's now settled down a
Yeah.
whole lot because that's not what the people in his state wanted or needed, and so now he's
That's
a
right.
different sort of a
Right.
person. And so I
Yeah.
mean, I saw him the other day on Bill Maher's show. So I mean, he's changed
Yeah.
a whole lot. You know.
Well, you know what? His political career went in the political career went in the toilet over that. Hey, I tell you what he has no control over? Miami. Because in Miami they do whatever they want to do.
Oh,
They,
man.
they got we don't you don't listen. They don't care. We don't care. We don't care. I mean, and great people down in Miami.
Wonderful.
Love
We had a
Miami.
great time.
But I think something is got to be said where our leaders, whether it's Nathaniel Ledbetter, Garland Gudger, Governor Ivey, Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth, Katie Britt, stand up, say, we are all Americans. We are all Alabamians. We are not all Democrats or all Republicans. Not all Americans are right. Not all Democrats are right. Not all Republicans are right. But we need to come together and try to learn to understand each other. We've got to have leaders
In a
like that.
sensible, rational way.
I'm just.
Yeah. I would tell you what we could come together on. We could come together on finding those Epstein files. That's what we could come together on.
Well, the Epstein files, man, are buried deeper than Hillary's emails.
Hey, listen, I found myself agreeing with Thomas Massey and several other Republicans here of late. And I think we're all on the same side. And if you can unite me and Thomas Massey on the same side, Lord knows what you can do. Okay.
Well,
Oh, man.
it's been crazy. Over here in Greece, they don't even care what we're doing except how it's affecting their economy. And I care about how it's affecting our exchange rate. We get about 70 cents out of an American dollar over here because
If that.
it is that bad because our economy is in the toilet with the world. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. It's a beautiful day. And as they say here in the morning in Greece, Kalimera. And we wish you all the best. Thank you for watching. You've been watching the voice of Alabama politics. You watch us because we watch them.